lot, but then I don't think there's a sweeping motion from Guinevere, man. Like, it's been a minute that we've seen Guinevere in the roam.
I haven't seen... Was Guinevere used, or this is the first time? Again.
For the season?
For this season.
For the season, she might have popped up maybe once earlier in the weeks here, but it's just, you don't see it that much.
Yeah. We'll see, because Light has been a Guinevere user at the roam, and they honestly need a catch onto Oheb or even forces Purify. And with the Spatial Migration, Violent Requiem combination, you know, it's going to be an easy job for Light.
Hey, there was a jump right there, already burning the flicker from Perks. And that's, again, something we have to talk about, too, because if you guys missed game number 1, Perks was a big part of why a lot of the set potential was there and why it looked like a very clean game from Blacklist International in game 1.
Yeah.
We'll see if there's going to be an adjustment or an answer, I would say, from RSG. Maybe Guinevere fits into that puzzle. You also still have those 2 Purifies.
Here comes the first jump onto Lord JM. Has to use the flicker to evade. Now Blacklist trying to fight back. Okay, if Light continues that aggression, it's gonna be a hard game for Lord GM, because again, Terizla, you need the position, you need to get the brushes right, you need those unexpected penalty zone plays, especially with a flicker, and Light goes in once again.
it's flashbacks from yesterday. What'd they do to Julian's damage? They said it was a nerf.
well, you don't feel it when Irad or MP the King's using the Julian.
I'm going to have to go through the code now at this point and look to see if it was actually a nerf. Julian just feels like he's doing too much, man. I don't know. Part of the damage. But that's already an objective being secured here, taken now, RSG. And part of this, you know, going back to what you were saying as well, some of the initiations that can happen and how things fall into place, I think part of this is, yeah.
Here goes another jump. Now Oheb has to use the Purify. And this is what we were saying. With this Guinevere pick, it's easy for RSG to pop the Purifies of Blacklist, for Haji, for Oheb. With one jump, you don't even have to commit the Violet Requiem, because there's a lot of follow-up coming in from RSG. One Spatial Migration and the burst from the Julian. We don't know what they did to his damage, but I think it's going to be enough to force Oheb and Haji to pop that Purify right away.
This could work in a couple different ways here, Ingon. The way I see it is, like, number one, Light's already doing a great job at finding, you know, the spatial migration, but let's say you play into the Glorious Pathway. It slows everyone down, plus the real-world manipulation.
Oh, it's a
Light
lot.
could actually just wait and then find the right targets. Otherwise, it works vice versa, where he is the one finding that pick-off potential and everything else. So this time around, I feel like RSG has layered that kind of the safety lock, if you will, because our panelists mentioned it. Like, Nibor on the Hylos last game wasn't, you know, it's not what we're used to seeing. Like, he is that type of player that is able to be a little more aggressive, get the setups himself, and that's why Blacklist went out and banned all his heroes. You know, he doesn't get the Edith because Nibor's best performances so far has been on the Edith.
Yeah, especially, I remember Umi mentioning this a while ago in the Talent Lounge that whenever Nibor has the Edith, has the flicker, automatically he makes plays right away. He goes. There's no patient game when it comes to Nibor's Edith.
and that's the thing. You're not going to do that with a Hylos with a Revitalize.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to see you coming from a mile away. You're going to drop down.
Literally.
And, yeah, literally. Like, you're highlighted on your pathway, all glorious-like, literally. And then, you know, so you don't have that surprise factor that you see from Nibor's Edith before in the weeks prior. So I feel like, again, going back to this fact where they have the Guinevere and even the Eve, who also has somewhat of a struggling win rate, this is all layered well. And then, you know, the damage profile that you have between the magic and physical, because of you have a Julian with Eve and then you have the Mozkov. RSG has covered their boxes and the bases. This should be enough to get them hopefully to a Game 3, because that's what they need. Remember, both these teams are in pretty big stakes for getting to the playoffs here.
Light commits the spatial migration combination onto Perks. Look at the damage coming in from RSG. All of a sudden, Perks is gone. It's the Glorious Pathway signal for Nibor just to zone out Blacklist as RSG works on the turtle. That's a good play. That's a good pickoff coming in from Light.
Yeah, great usage. Once again, that we were talking about there earlier on. Second turtle being secured already. So right now, RSG in control of the game. Much better than what they had to deal with the previous one. And MP the King's going to have a much harder time this time getting, to that snowball potential that he got in Game 1 with the Hayabusa. So you can see the difference, the shift, and even the game plan here for Blacklist International. Okay.
Okay, Oheb goes in with Blazing Duet just to clear out, but look at the damage, though. Okay, so this time, Blacklist is actually on the passenger seat. Although things can change with one setup coming in from Perks or Lord JM, again, it's all about who sets up first. Because even if Perks manages to set up 3 onto the backline, if RSG manages to catch Oheb once again or Haji, it could be game over right away for every single clash.
When you talk about it that way, and part of this is like the Claude. I know we heard this pretty extensively yesterday, and now that it was picked up today, the Claude gets online faster now.
Yeah.
I think it was Redmar originally that was just very adamant on saying, like, yeah, now you just need the 2 items. You don't actually need that trinity of the item set anymore, where Claude is actually a pretty big threat. Oh, you can already see this play being trying to be made up here.
Oh, it goes in right away with the Blazing Duet again, just to clear the minions, making sure that RSG doesn't get the turret up top.
Okay, so is this the play on? Do you think this is the right choice for Blacklist to slow things down as much as possible, try to keep that gold lead from getting too out of hand?
Yeah, they have to. I mean, the first requirement of Blacklist lineup is, of course, MP the King Snowball. 0-1-0, not off to a good start compared to game number 1 wherein he had 6-0-1 before he was shut down. So they really have to play on Oheb right now. Because plan A, MP the King, so far hasn't been activated yet. We have to wait for Oheb. We have to wait for those setups coming in from Perks and Lord JM to eventually regain the lead and get objectives.
See if they can do that diversion. Going to be used here. No one falling through just yet. Turtle, though, less than half health.
Okay, they're going to send Oheb, try and get the trade for the turret.
Wow.
Down bottom as RSG secures another turtle.
Okay, so already all 3 turtles going to the hands of RSG. They'll continue to put pressure now on this side of the jungle, at least just by planting Nibor there, being threat enough.
Whoa, spatial migration, flicker combination onto Lord JM.
Oh.
The flicker's there plus the penalty zone. Real world manipulation not going to be enough to bring him down, but that was 2 major resources for Blacklist expended.
I mean, for RSG, they used basically three things.
Yeah.
The flicker, the Requiem. Oh, okay, Kosei's going to be fine, I think. Yeah, even with the fracture. So they got the turret. But yeah, real world manipulation, spatial migration, plus the flicker, and still Lord JM survived. Yeah, he had to burn his, but ultimately, at least, he's still sitting on that 0-0-0 on the Trizla.
Yeah, and you can actually see the effect of the buff on the Nolan, the slow on the fracture. It's almost got Kosei there. Pretty deadly, yeah.
I think it's 30%.
30%, yeah. 30% slow.
And right now, you're going to see that Nolan like pop up more, especially
if it doesn't get banned out.
Yeah, if it doesn't get banned out. I mean, it was, I can't remember if it was all games yesterday that we saw it picked up, but, you know, for the most part, it's just going to be something that you have to keep in mind. But already this Tier 1 pushed in, Oheb finally getting it down, and also on the flip side, the same thing is going to happen as Kosei picks up the one on the bottom side. Both teams are trying to get that space to work with. At this point in the game, when you get ready for that first Lord, you really need to have the space to move around on the map. And so you start focusing on these Tier 1 turrets. And this is where the utilization of a diversion could come into handy too. You obviously send out Oheb. He comes back with the BMI. Yeah. We saw this combination as well. Just like earlier, it was the Hayabusa. Now it's going to be the Claude. And that's something that still RSG has to deal with when it comes to managing the waves around these Lord dances, these Lord shuffles, like the way you like to call them right now.
Yeah, eventually, for sure, Haji's gonna be sending perks, not Oheb anymore. Like similar to what Omega's been doing with the Louis combination, whether it's a Belleric or whatever, as RSG works on this Lord. Good zone here. Coming in from Namor, Lord JF still can cast that penalty zone as MP the King tries to wait for the perfect opportunity. He does cast it, but not going to connect onto NU1 Fracture, and Oheb goes in with a Blazing Duet! Look at that, connecting onto 2. The first man down is Namor. RT Light has to walk away as Ira tries to get away also, as Lord JM will fall. Kosei working on Burst, but here comes MP the King with the Fracture to bring down 2.
Oh, that was so well timed and orchestrated. Blacklist gets the Lord. MP cleaned that up. He goes on the chase, and then, he even picks things up. He's going for more!
MP goes in with the Fracture! Ira did not see that coming.
I'll say it again. It was well orchestrated. The diversions with MP the King are on point right now. And now they're going to play around the Lord down on the bottom side. So RSG, their head's on a swivel and their neck's feeling a little sore at this point.
You know, we've been asking, what did they do to Julian's damage? I think the proper question is, what did Blacklist do all of a sudden? Dominating Week 6. I mean, this is the same lineup they stuck with ever since Week 3, Week 4, when they finally found the code. And I think this time, this is really the code that Blacklist wants, that Blacklist needs as they work on another diversion. What a fast rotation from the agents.
This is how you use the Loi Yi. Diversions, so valuable. Even with, you know, back when we had that major patch come through, and she had a little bit of a change to the ultimate. I think it was the cooldown of it.
Yeah, got longer.
Yeah, but still, like, you can see how much usage you get being able to just kind of transverse through the map. So right now, taking a look at the items too, things are falling in place. You already have that Trinity set, of course, for Oheb. We saw the damage potential there. MP the King also has pretty much the items that he needs in terms of damage. There's the defensive one we were looking for from Oheb. He's got the Wind of Nature. So these are going to make it a little bit tougher than it already has been for RSG Philippines. Nothing massive. Again, we're only talking about a small lead, you know, 2,000 gold, but the way the team fights are going makes it seem way different than just the 2,000 gold difference. Yeah. And so for the struggle here for RSG Philippines is really keeping an eye on everything, honestly. It's more so of like, not just looking at, oh, here's the objective, here's the Lord, but also, where is Haji sending? And who is he sending to cut us off or get, you know, to the back line or put some pressure on us?
Okay, who is he going to send this time? I think it's a diversion.
Yeah,
literally just
which works as well, right? Yeah. I'm going to divert you with a diversion.
The question to your answer, I think, if you start sending perks, just like how Omega does it with Ukir and Chakno, it's going to be a huge problem. Even if Kosei and Aqua pops their Purify, once the Implosion play casts, Lord JM still has the penalty zone plus the Flicker.
They have a lot of catch.
Crowd control. Yeah, they have a lot of catch. I mean, at this point, even MP the King doesn't need crowd control from his teammates because he literally can just burst down anyone with the Fracture.
He can, and this is what you have to do. You have to have some of these defensive items being picked up by RSG, so Nibor does get the Radiant Armor. But now they're facing themselves against, once again, the dance-off, the shuffle-off for the Lord.
The BMI diversion play, just like what we saw with Hayabusa. Yeah, they're just going to keep doing and doing that just to gain a slow push onto the opposite lane of the Lord. We might see an exact outcome of game number 1 with this potentially last Lord for Blacklist.
And this is what I was saying. It's a good point. Like, the part of the point is the economy isn't, you know, too crazy of a difference because RSG could also just be waiting for some of those key items being picked up. Kosei did just get the Wind of Nature himself, so he's got a little more defense to deal with, but still, it's just the slow game for Blacklist. We saw the same exact thing from game 1, where it was just, you know, let's take this discipline route, let's be slow, let's take the calculated approach, and that's what RSG kind of got collapsed on. So it's the same story, even with this whole thing. I mean, if they get to a game 3, RSG might even think about just getting rid of the Loi Yi.
Yeah.
But right now, they've got to deal with this because the pressure is here for the second Lord.
Okay, now this time the difference is Kosei has the Moskov, so as long as Spirit Destruction connects, it's okay. Lord JM goes in with the penalty zone onto Light as Burks works on Nibor. Nibor trying to soak up the damage. MP the King gets the Lord! And a spatial migration is not going to be enough to bring down Black. Oheb goes in with the Blazing Duet onto the backline. Going to burn out Aqua and Light as well. Double kill coming in from Lord JM, but Kosei going up against 4. Pops the Wind of Nature to bring down Oheb. That's a 2-4-3, but Blacklist secures the Lord. Diversion play. Here comes MP with the Fracture. But a beautiful stun from Kosei to answer right back. That was an outplay for Kosei, but RSG has to deal with the Lord.
Oh, RSG's dealt with that before, but right now it's only Nibor.
Okay, here comes the Glorious Pathway just to delay the push. 3 seconds before Light becomes online once again. Nibor's safe here, but the Lord marching in as he tried to burst down and inhibit the turret. Light wants to go for the spatial migration onto Haji. I think it's going to be enough because here comes Aqua.
I think that's all they're going to be able to get, that one base turret, maybe a little bit more push here, but ultimately everyone from RSG is going to be back online for the defense. So good response. Again, Kosei and RSG has seen that play before with a diversion into that brush right next to the purple buff. So good response. Because if MP stayed alive in that exchange,
it's over.
They probably would have been over as they punched one in. So they're going to take some more, though, of course, from RSG. But RSG ultimately still in this game, still able to make something happen and have this comeback.
I know, if RSG manages to come back from this game, that was the game-winning moment, honestly, for Kosei.
For Kosei, yeah.
Spear of Misery catches MP the King, goes up against 3. And even prior to that, he was able to take down Oheb because he knows that Oheb was casted already his Wind of Nature once he went in with the Blazing Duet. That's why he has more kits. He had the Wind of Nature to bring down Oheb, eventually outplay MP the King, but Haji finishes him off. Now RSG, if they manage to just get another beautiful pickup from Light, they could extend this game.
They can definitely extend it. And now you see the Immortality starting to come into play too, just picked up here by Perks. So he's got that available, and usually when Perks does have that Immortality and he has the Flicker available, he starts to take some of those chances if he has to. Again, the game plan for Blacklist could be a little bit different than what we saw previously, even yesterday where Perks was playing the Tigreal. So at this point, RSG still has to be on high alert throughout this game. You can see the push trying to happen there on that bottom side. Really, with one base turret down, Blacklist can still do the same thing. By the way, grab your emotes while you can, but they're going to have to defend.
Okay, Real Romanation has to be casted. Haji got bursted down! The slows coming in from Aqua.
Wow.
Huge pickoff for RSG.
Good pickoff. And you're 10 seconds away from the Lord, so I'm not sure on the call there. Haji, he ends up going through, tries to get out, and now they're down a member. So Blacklist has to delay this, because if they don't delay it...
All right, Spatial Migration. He's going to go on to Perks. He has the Immortality, though. Has the Sacred Hammer to walk away. Hasn't been popped yet, but Kosei goes in. Glorious Pathway. Lord J answers right back with a penalty zone. MP the King trying to burst down Nimbor here as RSG works on the Lord. Kosei trying to keep Blacklist at bay here as they work on this Lord.
Trying to delay it.
You're going to delay Lord James. He has
Haji's
no penalty
up.
zone. Haji's up. Perks as well. Here comes Perks. Perks will be bursted down as Aqua gets the Lord. And the Raiders all of a sudden with the answer. Oheb with the Blazing Duet. It's not going to connect though. And again, this is what we were saying. Just a good setup from Light is all you need to turn things around.
That was messy. That was, I mean, there was so many disconnects there from Blacklist International in the last minute and a half or so that it looks like they were scraping to try to find something out of the exchange, and ultimately they lost a whole lot. And as they're going to continue to lose a whole lot now that this push from RSG is going to happen, and this is where possibly they could end up flipping the switch and get them to a Game 3.
Oh, they're sending Oheb. They're going to send Oheb to the bottom lane, trying to equalize, trying to get slow push up bottom. As RSG manages their waves perfectly, gonna wait up for the perfect moment to strike. As their minions all are in sync. They can actually get all inhibitor turrets if they play their cards right.
They can, and that's why they're going to push. Get this tier 2 in the mid down. Lord making its way. They all managing the waves to get lined up here. And that's the thing. Irad also pushed that in a little bit further. So now they're going to have to also deal with that bottom wave. But right now, the focus here on the top lane. There they go. Losing the turret already. Lord still has to be handled. How do they defend?
Problem is Perks, Lord J, and they don't have their flickers ready yet. They can't go for those miracle setups as they work on the Lord. They bursted it down, but the problem is their inhibitor up top is now gone as RSG tries to work on the middle lane and the bottom lane simultaneously.
I'm not sure if RSG actually wants to force this all the way unless they're able to. Flicker.
Wow! Spatial Migration onto 2, plus the real world manipulation. Oheb though with a Blazing Duet to bring down 3. Here comes the answer coming in from Blacklist. MP the King on the chase. There's the diversion. They're going to sandwich Aqua and Irad. They now know where they're hiding. 3 members after 2. Will they be able to escape though? MP the King quite low here. Haji.
It's so risky.
Oh, Irad goes in. MP the King as well pops his immortality. Does he have the Winter Crown? No, he doesn't as Haji picks up the kill.
And it's only Aqua right now to defend against this, so he's got to clear this out because here's the push.
Okay. Aqua pops his Purify and the Winter Crown. MP the King just moments away from bursting him down. He has the Immortality. It's going to be popped though. They have minions onto the middle lane. Penalty zone plus all the ultimates. Momentum for the Agents as all their games this week will be a win.